So you already heard a little bit about myself. I started Maria Abroad in 2007, and then in 2017 I actually bought Europe Up Close from somebody else, and I was able to build my own platform on this existing platform. What was important to me in my previous life as an online marketing consultant, I was used to chasing down clients all the time, and it wasn't something I enjoyed. I really hated it. So when I took a blog, I was really focusing on passive income stream. Passive, because we all know that passive isn't that passive. In any case, I wasn't like ready to go join campaigns and work on partnerships or any of that, because that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to work on my own terms, and using affiliate marketing and ad income allows me to do that, and my income's about 95% passive, so that's pretty sweet because I don't have to work all the time. Yes, so I want you to learn a little bit about how I made this dream possible, and tell you the blogger perspective about how to implement working affiliate marketing strategies in your blogs. And Jeannine is going to cover the industry side.
So just, very quickly. Okay. Hello. I'm not going to worry about it. If you can hear me, great. My voice tends to carry anyway, so we'll just go for it. So I've been with AWIN now for almost 9 years. Is it even closer? Yeah. Even closer it is. You got it. All right. Now you have to hear my voice. All right. So anyway, I've been in affiliate marketing now for just about 20 years. And so actually over 20 years. I think I'm really old. But that means I've gotten to know a lot of people and a lot of strategies. So that's what I'm going to try and share with you today. Been around forever. We'll just leave it at that. Oh, but for what it's worth, I was a travel writer as well. Used to sell to Sunday travel sections. We used to average about 6.5 million readers per article. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is I understand what it's like to write a travel story. I'm not just, one of those affiliate marketing people. I've been on both sides of the fence, and that's why I feel like I can bring something extra to the table for you guys.
All right, so is affiliate marketing worth it? I know a lot of bloggers, a lot of like intermediate and advanced bloggers, and they can't make affiliate marketing work because they have the traffic numbers, they have the setup, they have the following, but for whatever reason, they make peanuts with affiliate marketing. Last year, I don't want to brag but I want to give you some numbers to make you feel like, hey, this is something that is worth putting time and effort into. Last year I made $35,000 with affiliate marketing, and that was very little effort. The platform is built, and I'm going to give you some examples that, you might not reach those numbers on day one, but I did a lot of really small changes on some of my top performing articles, and that really made a difference. So here's some of those examples. I had one blog post about a city pass. I'm not going to name the city because I don't want you all stealing my content here. But it was a city pass in Europe, and I had this blog post for years and years on the website. It was actually written by a previous contributor. And I revamped it, updated all the content. I took it from about 800 words to about 2,000 words. It didn't get a lot of traffic. It only got about 1,000 page views the following month after the update. But it converted into 8 sales and made me $137 the first month after spending maybe 2 hours on this one blog post. That's not bad, and it has continued to make me money, between $150 to $200 since then. So can you imagine if you replicate that with 10, 20, 50 blog posts? It's amazing. It's really a snowball effect. So you're not going to make a huge amount of money with one single blog post, but it all adds up. And all those little pennies and all those little commissions, they're going to make a really big difference in your paycheck and when you do your taxes at the end of the year. So here's some other numbers. In May last year, I had 135,000 page views, and I made over almost $3,500 in hotel commission. The way it's set up on my website is I have a white label program, so it almost looks like I have my own little mini Expedia on my own domain. And this really helps the readers to trust my brand and get to know, they read the article about the hotel recommendations that I have for a specific city. Then they click on the link, they end up on a site that looks like it's still part of my site. It actually is. It's on hotels.europeupclose.com with my logo on the top. They can search for different hotels, not necessarily the one that I recommended. They can search by price, by star rating, by user rating. They even have a map on it. So it works really, really well, and it converts amazingly. My conversion rate for hotels combined in last year was 2.9%. It's pretty decent for hotel conversions. And those are things that took, of course, longer because I had to write all those hotel posts. I had to build the traffic to that. But one other thing that I did, and that's something that you can do when you get home, is I looked at my top 10 traffic posts, and I inserted a little snippet where I linked to my, 3 things you need to know before you book your trip to Italy. And I just changed the name of the country or the name of the city, or that was pretty much the only adjustment I made to that little snippet. And I had 3 points, linking them to my travel gear page, where I have a lot of Amazon affiliate links and gear affiliate links. And then I also told them about the hotel affiliate links, and because I can compare prices through my search engine on the hotel affiliate site. And you can, and then the other thing that I mentioned was the Allianz travel insurance. And it took me maybe half an hour to write that little snippet, and then maybe another half an hour to insert it into my top 10 blog posts. And it made me $445 since then. You know. We're gonna take questions at the end.
I just want to know if you could show us some of this, because it's going so fast, it's hard to take it in.
Yes, after the presentation, I'm also going to be at the Meet the Experts today from 4:05 to 5:05. So if you want to come there, I might be able to show you some stuff.
And the other thing is, if you want a copy of our slides, just give us your business card. I'll make sure we get it sent to you.
Yes. And if you want to reach out to me on Facebook, I'd be happy to explain more and send you to the links that actually I'm working on, so, or how this works. Okay. So one of the things is when I write an article, I always have a purpose, and so I have to find my topic before I write the article, obviously. So sometimes I even go so far that I do the keyword research before I actually go travel. So I find out if I'm traveling to a very popular city, most likely I'm not going to rank for best hotels in Paris. So nobody does so, right? But I might be able to rank for best dessert tours in Paris. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 or 3 dessert tours in Paris when I'm there, so I have content to write about. So you have to think about hey, what is it that makes sense monetary-wise? If you do a free walking tour, you're not going to be able to monetize it. So you have to think about your topic before you go. Do your keyword research so you find something that you can compete with and actually rank for, and that you can monetize, that fits with your brand, fits with your readers, and all of that. So give your readers what they're asking for. So if nobody searches for dessert tours in Paris, then maybe you do a pub crawl, or I don't know what, a cheese tour. So give them what they're asking for. My favorite tool is Key Search. I go there and I look for the different keywords that actually are buying keywords, where people actually book tours, book hotel rooms, buy gear or whatever, and then I adjust that on when I'm writing the article. Depending on where you're at in your blogging journey, you have to niche it down. If you have a high authority site that has been around for tens of years, lots of content, a really high authority site, if you have already 200 articles on Paris, it's going to be much easier for you to rank for specific topics. But if you're starting out, you want to make sure that you niche it down. As I said, you're probably not going to rank for best hotels in Paris, but you might be able to rank for best family hotels in central Paris. So niche it down, make it work for your audience, and you don't need a lot of traffic. Like I said, I had this one blog post with 1,000 page views that made me almost $150 a month. So, you don't need a lot of traffic to do that. Just get the number of articles up that convert for you. And my general experience is always text links outperform widgets and banners. Banners are just not working anymore. I don't know, in most cases. That having said that, it's always important to test your audience, because sometimes one company converts, sometimes banner ads converts, and one blog post, a widget might convert better than a text link. So test it out, play around with it. If something doesn't work, see if you can switch it up and try something new.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about choosing merchants, because a lot of people are like, who should I work with? Who pays the best? Who converts the best? Part of that's going to be what Maria was just talking about in terms of testing that with your site. Because, you know, some folks will do great with booking.com, others find reservations.com works better, still others find that TripAdvisor works better. So you need to see what it is with your audience. And I think it also helps if you say, I usually use this site or that site, and my reason is this. I find the best prices, I find the best locations, whatever those sorts of things are. A lot of people will say, for example, and I'm going to get to Amazon a little bit later talking about it, but they're like, oh, everybody buys from Amazon, and all my readers buy from Amazon. They're going to do what you suggest to them to do. And if you've got a link to someplace that's not Amazon, they're going to check that out because you said it was good. So it gives you some other opportunities. So anyway, these are all different things that I suggest that you check out when you're choosing a merchant. So you want to take a look at what their product selection is. You want to make sure that their site is well designed. Would you buy something from them? You know, because you're going to be putting your name on your recommendation for that. So see if it's somebody that you like. Do they have good support for you? Do they have a good conversion rate? If you're going through something like an affiliate network, you're going to be able to see what their rate is on things, what their approval rate is, what their EPC is, which is earnings per 100 clicks, not just one click. So I just want to make sure that everybody gets that, because you'll see the term EPC bandied about a lot. EPC, right? It's earnings per 100 clicks. So you want to do that. I also look to see, you want to make sure that they've got deep linking available. And that's really important for you as travel bloggers, because what you're going to want to do is to point exactly to that product. So instead of sending them to lonelyplanet.com, you're going to send them to lonelyplanet.com/London guidebook, because that's the one that you specifically talked about. So you want to make it very easy for them to shop on there. So I always look for a merchant that's got deep linking available. That's going to be critical for you. Take a look at what their competitors are, and also you may have a favorite network that you like to work with. I, of course, am a fan of AWIN and ShareASale for obvious reasons, but you know, maybe there's other networks. God bless, that's fine. The important thing, though, is that you find who it is that you like working with, and use them more often than not is actually my recommendation. Yes, here's my favorite slide. I don't think it's Tim Leffel's favorite slide, but that's okay. So working with Amazon, what I like to say is, it's okay if you do, and I understand if you do, but I don't think it's a great idea. For starters, they have the shortest cookie, 24 hours. So if somebody doesn't buy right away, odds are good that you're not going to earn that commission. They also have among the lowest commission rates in the industry. So using Lonely Planet as an example, Lonely Planet on Amazon is a one-day cookie, 4% commission rate. Lonely Planet through the AWIN program is a 30-day cookie and a 15% commission rate. So you can make a lot more money. And they also try harder to sell. Amazon sells everything the same way. Lonely Planet tries to find the right way, as do all the other merchants. It matters more to them to sell it to you that way, so they work harder. You can get kicked out 25 different ways out of the Amazon program. They have a whole long list, and they are more than happy to do that. They'll let you back in, by the way, but you have to go through and change every single link on your site when they let you back in. So you don't want to have that happen to you, and they're just like lying in wait. They don't have the advanced technologies like cross-device tracking, which means that we can see when somebody starts their search on their phone and then moves to their desktop to make a purchase. Amazon doesn't change for that. Most of the other affiliate programs on networks do that, so you get credit for it. Content publishers do the best, make so much more money because of ConverterLink. You guys are the biggest, or not ConverterLink, because of cross-device tracking. You guys are the biggest beneficiaries of that. So it's kind of one of those things to look for. Amazon doesn't give that to you. There aren't any free products, sponsored posts, all those kinds of things. It's a lot harder to get attention on there because they work with so many publishers. It's easier on smaller programs or through networks or in-house programs. You can't tell your family and friends. I literally had somebody come up to my booth yesterday and they were so excited when I told them that they could text message a link to somebody that they knew and say, yes, you can buy my favorite thing right through here. You did that through Amazon. If they decided they wanted to, they can be a reason to kick you out of the program. So just kind of one things to keep in mind. I know that, a lot of people love working with Amazon, they love Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is not the only way to get stuff for free. A lot of merchants offer that as well, free shipping of all different kinds. So anyway, just something, I wanted you to be an educated consumer of the affiliate programs that you work with.
All right. I'm going to talk to you about the buying cycle now. So there are two major differences. One is an impulse buy, and the other one is the researched and more expensive purchase. So the impulse buy is usually a very quick buying cycle. You get the inspiration, you have the motivation, and then you purchase. Super, super easy. I'm going to talk to you about how to write copy for each of those different things later on. The researched and expensive purchase has a way longer purchasing cycle and sometimes goes over months, if not years. So it's really, really hard to lead people from the beginning to the end. So you have to really time your content on when you're talking to your readers. So if you have somebody who has just made the decision to fly to the Maldives and it's out of their budget, so they have to save up for a couple of years, it doesn't make a difference if they're going to click on your link because they're not anywhere near to deciding on booking. So you really have to time it when you reach your readers. Like, for instance, if you want to have a really high conversion rate, you want to target them at the very final step of their purchasing cycle. You have to keep the cookie length in mind. Like Jeannine said, Amazon only has 24 hours. If you're on booking, it's within the same session. So you really have to keep in mind like where you're at. Like sometimes it makes sense if you have a lot of people browsing for hotels on your website. It might make sense to go with TripAdvisor because they pay the lead. So people don't necessarily have to book right then and there, but you get a little, it's only just 50 cents, $2, something like that per lead, but you get a little bit of money for that at least. Versus if you wait for somebody to be in the booking stage of the buying cycle, then you're going to get a bigger commission, but it's much harder to grab them at that point. So yeah, those are the timings. So when you write copy that sells for the impulse buy, you have to keep in mind the price point. And impulse buys can be at various price points depending on the budget of your reader. So you really have to know your reader. Is your impulse buy a $25 watch that you see on Amazon because it's popped up in like popular product of the day? Or is it something like some people have a discretionary budget of $5,000 and they can just book the flight to the Maldives today and go tomorrow, and it's no big deal because they have $1 million in the bank. So you really have to know your readers and know what their discretionary income is to market to them for impulse buys. And it doesn't make sense to do that if you don't know that. So when you want to create impulse buys, you have to create that lifestyle image. Like if I buy this beautiful hat, I'm going to be in 25 countries next year staring into the sunset. Because this is what the image that you're going to sell to them. Like, this is the person I'm going to be. I'm going to be that influencer in that beautiful Instagram shot, in the twirly dress, and it's going to work. And people eat that shit up. So you have to speak to their emotions. You have to figure out what are their pain points, what are their strongest desires, what are their dreams and passions, and that's how you're going to get the impulse buy. It's going to make them feel better. Even it might be just for a few minutes until they see the invoice later on. But it's going to make them feel good. And, we all like to reward ourselves and, want that instant gratification. That's what you're going for when you write for impulse buys. Like, you can use copy like, treat yourself. You're worth it. You deserve it. Speak to their weaknesses. The fear of missing out. We all have that. I mean, I'm pretty sure half of the session here is thinking about, but I think the other session was good too, right? So, yeah. Become part of the movement. Sometimes shame works. Like, you're not using the new plastic straw. You're still using plastic straws and not a metal straw? What kind of horrible person are you? You're killing turtles. So, create a sense of urgency. So you need to tell them, hey, it's a special offer. price is increasing tomorrow. You have to do it right away. And so that's another way how to get people to impulse buy. Use a strong call to action. Actually, this is something that you can use for the other one as well, for the longer and more expensive purchases. Here's an example. That's something that I use on my blog a lot, like telling people to use skip the line tickets, especially if they travel in the summer. It doesn't necessarily mean that I used skip the line tickets if I went there in November, but everybody knows the Eiffel Tower is super busy in July, so there's that. Here is some copy ideas on how to write for copy that sells for expensive products, and this goes into the influencer niche. So there are two options. One is building a relationship with your reader and going in, like leading them directly from the influencing the first spark of the idea all the way to the purchase. And you can lead them through the process, use funnels. What I like to do is email marketing. So I segment all my readers depending on what links they click on in the newsletters that I send out. So for instance, if I have a lot of people, like one person always clicking on my Italy article links in my newsletter, I put them in an Italy folder. So I get a special offer from some company, 10% off on this Italy deal. I can write a newsletter to those Italy peeps, and then they convert for that Italy trip, because somebody who's been clicking on all my Spain content is not interested in a trip to Italy. So you can really like niche it down and lead them through the whole buying cycle and bring them back to until they are ready to buy. The other thing that you can do is like you want to target the reader right when they're ready to buy, with wallet in hand. You want them to have the credit card ready, they've done all their research, and now they want to buy. So it's really hard to find them, but if you do, it converts like a charm. You know, you have the SEO optimized content for the top buying keywords, like best hotels in, best hiking pans, things like that. Those are the things that people search for when they are ready to buy. Again, do your keyword research so you know that people are actually searching for best dessert tours in Paris and not best cheese tours in Paris. You know, I mean, obviously it has to be on brand, but keep in mind that you want to sell to them, and you don't need a lot of articles that convert well. You need a handful of articles that convert really, really well, and then write about that. So another thing that you need to do is when you pick those people at the very end of the buying cycle, you need to create trust immediately. You know, you have a little sentence like, I've been traveling to the city for 10 years. I go there at least once a year. You need to build trust because they don't know you. They picked you off on Google. You know, like there's no previous relationship. Why should they buy through your link? So you need to build that trust and really like get them engaged and into your to read your article and feel and trust you. So yeah, the next thing is you would like to compare the best options. Don't overwhelm them with choices, and group those choices together. So you can have the best family hotels and then group them by star rating or maybe by price range. So people can then, they don't have to read your whole article. They can skip to the part that's interesting for them, and it's easier for them to digest, and it leads them much clearer to the actual buying click in the end. So another thing that's important is that you have to have one focus of the article. Don't try to sell them a tour, a hotel, and a flight all in one article. It's not going to work. Focus on one thing. You know, don't do everything, because you want to really you don't want to distract them. Don't have the Facebook pop up. Try to reduce the number of ads. It really makes a difference on your conversion. And again, use a strong call to action.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me okay, right? Yes, no? Okay, good. So just kind of getting back to some of the strategies behind this, one of the things I always say is any noun, especially a proper noun, can be an affiliate link. Because people are always wondering, what word should I use to try and turn it into a text link? And so that's kind of my guideline. Doesn't mean turn every noun into a text link, but the right ones count. So here's an example of how to incorporate links into your site. This was a post that was talking about, in this case, the Frida Kahlo Museum in Mexico. And so that was a perfect thing to turn into a link. This is actually the page on Viator that talks about ads or about tours to Frida Kahlo. So that way it makes it very easy for somebody to go and buy it. And I'm going to tell you a story that is my most embarrassing story, but people do appreciate it when you put those links in there. A couple of years ago, my husband and I went to Prague. We read a blog post that told about this wonderful hotel that we wanted to stay at. She didn't have a link. So I went out, booked it. When I got there, I was at the wrong hotel. It was a block away. I didn't speak Czech. And so I had to walk past the hotel I wanted twice a day on our way to and from Old Prague, and she didn't make $60. So it would have helped me tremendously if she'd said, here's the hotel, instead of saying, here's the internet, good luck. You know, so that's what happened to me. Links are a service to your reader. They don't bother them. When you do that, you're making it easier for them to find that wonderful product that you just told them that they really should enjoy as part of their experience. Here's another example. So this is the Coyoacan neighborhood in Mexico, which is where that museum was located. And she was talking about all the wonderful ways to just enjoy it. There's no hotels there. So what we did instead was took a look at TripAdvisor rentals, and we found 27 locations that were there. So don't be afraid to think outside the box. A lot of publishers, when they're thinking about doing affiliate marketing, think hotels, airlines, rental cars. There's so much more than that. So that's what I want to encourage you to do. So do things like get to know your merchants. You know, like a lot of people don't realize that Lonely Planet, for example, has a whole series of books to teach children foreign languages. They're great. They're just kind of fun, and it's good for little kids, and all of a sudden, you know, when they go to another country, you know, they'll say de la naranja instead of saying, give me an orange, or orange juice. TBEX has a wonderful selection of hiking boots. Most people don't realize that, but it's really a great way to kind of point people to something that's great. And here, TripAdvisor has the rental section that also has an affiliate program. Airbnb does not have an affiliate program for most bloggers to actually earn money off their rentals. TripAdvisor Rentals does. So if you start getting to know your merchants, you can find all the wonderful things that they've got. So what I wanted to do, this is a wonderful place to be able to put in affiliate links using packing lists. So, you know, here, put a link into it from hiking boots, put a link in from scarf, put a link into a guidebook. You know, and I didn't turn every single thing into a link, I just turned a couple. You know, maybe those things that might be the hardest to find, or ones that you feel are the best recommendation, but packing lists are a great place to add affiliate links. You can even offer your own store. There's a lot of different networks that have a technology on there. There's also some third-party things like Data Feeder that you can use, which will enable you to make your own store and just put in the products that you want so that people can go shopping. I think that this works much better when it's in a grid format. You'll see some travel bloggers who try and create their own shop, and it's like this really, really, really long post that goes on forever because they've got the big picture and then the big text, and then, you know, those don't convert quite as well as something like this might. So the technology is available. With WordPress, you can use WooCommerce, so there's a lot of different ways to do it, but these do very well as far as making money for you.
Are we saving questions to the end, or how's that?
If that's okay, yeah, I think we're getting close here. We're working our way down. Is it a fast question, or?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if I did a Dude Ranch packing list and I want to put in something to Ariat, do I see if Ariat's on Commission Junction, or do I go directly to Ariat, or do I see if it's AWIN? I don't know enough about this.
And that's a good question. So, and I'll just go ahead and answer that one right now. There's a lot of programs. Some programs have an in-house program. Some programs have an in-house program and they're on a network. The choice is yours on which one you want to go to. Usually you're going to find that the commissions are the same. The networks probably have more reporting capabilities and probably have a lower threshold for payment. Like for us, we send a check at $20, whereas like some of the individual merchant programs, it might be higher. A lot of people also like the fact that with a network you can log into one place and see all your sales for multiple programs as opposed to logging into this one and then this one and then this one and then this one. It's your preference, your personal preference, so you can decide what you want to do. But I'm a fan of networks for those reasons that I said, even before I started working for this network. So, but it's an excellent question. So there's just some ideas on different types of merchants to do. So a lot of people think of the travels, the airlines, the trains, the rental cars, accommodations, of course. Think about the destinations as well. So think about the things that you can do there. So that's the things like Viator, but also things like ticketing companies. Is there going to be a hot sporting event that's there? Or maybe they just want to get tickets to, the Nationals game or the Rockies game, or for some reason the Denver Broncos game, because we really suck this year. But, so stuff like that. Or is there a special concert? If people can go there and they can discover that there's a concert in the park and they can buy tickets for it. Those things work well. Travel services, as Maria was saying, she's had some great success with Allianz, who is available on AWID, by the way. Thank you. But, Trusted House Sitters does great. And a lot of people will actually travel using Trusted House Sitters. So instead of accommodations, they're going to go babysit somebody's house and get to stay in Paris for free. They love it. And you can get paid on either side of that equation. So that's another case of getting to know your merchant. You can make a lot of money from those things. Foreign language classes do real well. There's actually companies that offer like free foreign language classes online. Things like Clear, so getting through the airport faster, people will pay for that. They have a 2-month free trial to start off with. So there's those kinds of things that you can build into your blog posts. I will tell you that the points guy loves Clear. He loves those checks because he does very well with it. People like those kinds of services. And Clear now will also help you to get into things like sporting events and concert venues faster. They're showing up in more and more of those kinds of locations. So, if you pay attention to that and highlight it, it can just be one more of those kind of benefits that Maria was talking about to make their life better and easier and enjoy the trip even more.
And do we assume that AWIN is affiliated with Clear because you have it up on your slide?
I use Clear because I know it. Yeah, they are with us. They're exclusively with us, but it's just kind of an example.
Okay.
And some of them, like I said, have in-house programs. So if you want to work with them, that's great. Packing lists we talked about, sports. Also think about the things that they need to operate or to participate in those sports. So things like hiking boots, things like bikes, things like really good backpacks. So they can go to a luggage store and be able to buy those backpacks. Those luggage stores have affiliate programs. Drones actually do very well because a lot of people just love to take them out and play with them. Please don't do it near a major airport. Not a good idea. But nevertheless, they'll go out and take those along and have a whole new experience on their family vacation. All sorts of clothing stuff. I mean, what kind of clothes do you need to take wherever you're going? So sometimes people are going to want a new bathing suit, they're going to want a new hat, they're going to want a new jacket, they're going to want a dress. Like people going on cruises and they need something for their formal wear night, put them through to the right place, hook them up. That's what they're going to be looking for to shop, and you're telling them that that's what they need to buy. Stuff for the kids, for the destination. Specialty items. Etsy does great for travel bloggers. Jane does great for bloggers because it's one of those places where you can find all sorts of stuff that you're not expecting. So those kinds of marketplace type merchants can do very well for you. So go on there, take a look at what some of their travel items are, so that you can link to them. Once again, deep linking is important if you're talking about something in particular. So if you're talking about a travel journal, link to that travel journal so that it's easy for somebody to buy. It's okay to go ahead and do that because if they go there and they decide they don't want to buy that travel journal, but they want to get a set of something else instead, you still get the commission. Your goal is to get them from your site to the merchant site and buy anything. And the good part, as Maria was talking about before, is to pay attention to cookie length. If you've got a merchant with a 30-day cookie, they've got 30 days to decide what it is that they want to buy. And often if they've been to that site one time, they're going to go back and buy. So that adds up too for you. There's a lot of different kinds of technologies that you can use on here. This is something we just added, which is a publisher master tag. I'm just using it as an example because a lot of networks do something similar. I am hesitant to talk about how some of the other networks work just because they have their nuances and their strengths and weaknesses. I don't want to misrepresent anything. So, but just things like ConvertAlink, and you'll probably see this if you've ever worked with like Skimlinks or VigLinks as well, where it'll take an existing link and monetize it. There are services that'll just take text, and that's what Skimlinks and VigLinks will do. They'll take text and they'll convert those words into a monetized keyword. They work with all the different affiliate programs on all the different networks. They usually charge about 25% of your commission for doing that, but it's also automated. So it can save you a whole lot of headaches if that's not where you want to spend your time doing it. And if you find then that you're doing really great for a particular merchant, you can actually take that out of your Skimlinks account and join that merchant directly. So it's kind of a nice little way to do both. Monotote is something that is kind of a cool functionality that's out there now because it will enable you to monetize pictures and also to monetize videos. So that's something that you can check into. It's available sometimes in package deals from some places, or you can contact them directly. Virtually every network has some sort of a bookmarklet or Chrome extension or something like that, which is going to enable you to just download that, have that open, and when you go to that particular page on a merchant's page, it's going to let you copy and paste that link right in. So it saves a lot of time. I know a lot of people who work with Amazon, they're like, oh, we just love it, it's so easy to grab and pull the links. The other networks have that as well. So I just want to let you know that it's there and it can make it easy for you too. That way you don't have to necessarily go into the network's interface to be able to do things. Virtually every network has a link shortener. A lot of people that I know that are publishers like to use something like Pretty Links. And the reason why they do that is it's very easy to update, so that if a merchant changes networks or they change products or whatever, you can just go in and pull that one link out and put in the new one, and it'll populate throughout your website. So that can save a whole lot of time. But every network offers some sort of a shortener, link shortener. Just the key is you don't ever want to use a link shortener on Pinterest. Those links will frequently break if you shorten them. Pinterest likes to have the entire War and Peace length of the link. So here's an example, for example, of the bookmarklet. So it's just kind of a little something that shows up there, makes it really easy to see what's available for you. So you can just pull the link right there, or you can apply to the program. Basically, every network works along these lines. Data feed integration, as I mentioned before, Data Feeder is one of the things that you can use to help you be able to create your own store on your site. It works real well because they work with all the different data feeds from all the different merchants, so they're really quite popular. FTC compliance, there are WordPress plugins for that. It's a big deal to do the compliance. More and more networks now are actually hiring services like Brand Verity to verify that you are being compliant, which basically means that you've got something that says, you know, this post contains affiliate links. If you click on a link and purchase something, I may receive compensation. You can be creative when you do that. I've actually seen this post creates affiliate links. If you click and buy something, Fido may get a new dog biscuit, you know, Fluffy may get more catnip, those sorts of things. I saw a barbecue guy who was like, I get to have another porterhouse. So, you know, you can have a little bit of fun with it, but it's important to do it, and there's ways to automate it. So you want to make sure that you do that. So review disclaimer are some of the WordPress plugins. Review disclaimer, WP affiliate disclosure, or MWW disclaimer buttons. So all three of those work pretty well. Coming soon, a lot of networks are working on this right now, which is bounceless tracking, which means that it doesn't go through the affiliate network to get to the merchant. It's a whole lot of technology behind it, but it goes straight from the publisher to the advertiser. We get notified in a separate way at the network. So what that's going to do is enable you to be able to, it helps protect with a lot of things like the California Privacy Act, the ITP situation, GDPR, all those kinds of things. We always want to make sure we keep you compliant, so we've got all sorts of technologies that are doing that. A lot of people wonder when they can ask for more money from a merchant. So basically, and since we've only got a couple minutes left, it's when you're doing something that's really good for them. So if you are sending a lot of sales to them, you can say, hey, wait a minute, am I eligible perhaps for a special coupon code, for a commission bump, for things like that? It's going to have to be a lot for you to get a permanent commission bump, but maybe it can be a short-term one. So maybe if you've got a special offer, like a special newsletter that's going out that's featuring something on them, you can go ahead and ask. You know, the worst that happens, even if they say no, is they know that you are that interested in working with them. They don't forget that. And when a special opportunity comes up, who's going to be on the top of the list for them to reach out to? So that pays off as well there. Here's just a couple bonus tips that we were doing.
So number one is write with purpose. So that's important. And you need to focus on affiliate marketing. It's not an afterthought. So write dedicated posts for your affiliate income. You can repurpose your high traffic posts, but if you really want to convert, focus on writing specific articles for your affiliate income. Learn about your target readers, and you have to know the people you're selling to. If you don't know who they are, what their buying power is, and what they're interested in, they're not going to buy from you, period.
Google Analytics. A lot of people will say, wait a minute, your network numbers don't match my Google Analytics. That's because Google Analytics was not designed to track affiliate marketing. They have all sorts of different parameters than the affiliate networks do, and you're gonna go by the affiliate network numbers. So don't freak out if they don't match. They'll probably be pretty similar, but it's important to know that, because I see so many people who get really upset, and I don't want you to get upset. There's a reason why. Different metrics as far as what counts as a sale, whether there's been a return, how long the cookie lasts, all those kinds of things. And then we're both in agreement on the last one. Share the right link at the right time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So really read through the affiliate agreement with the merchant to make sure that you know what the cookie length is and what kind of, where you're going to place this link. And now we're at the questions.
So thank you, everybody. Yes.
Do you find it that there is a big impact about where, like location-wise within a post, you're adding your text links to affiliates? Is it something where you see the better conversion come when somebody's read through 1,800 words already and they're like, I'm going to click that link, or it's in the first paragraph?
I both agree. Put it closer to the top,
Yes.
usually, is one of the better ways to do it, is putting it near the top.
Usually, yes, it depends. If it's like a whole product review or one hotel review, I put at least one link in the first paragraph. And the first time I mention the hotel or the product, it's an affiliate link. Then I mention it somewhere throughout, and then at the bottom I make a big, bold call to action, maybe in a box, something like that. If it's like a list of things, I usually make the product name an affiliate link, and then underneath is like, check for prices here, or compare prices on blah, blah, blah here, something like that. So a call to action, like really short under that paragraph, where I have the picture, the paragraph, and then a little short call to action.
And if you've got a post where it doesn't seem like the link's going to fit in naturally, and I've seen some that are like that, just put an if you go section at the bottom. If you go, here's hotels you can check out, here's tours you can check out. You can just be that helpful, literally, because they can go down there or not. But not everybody reads to the bottom of the article, so if they're presented sooner, it can be better.
And one thing I also wanted to mention is like a lot of people feel very hesitant about linking to things that they haven't done. And I really, really do not recommend that you present it as if you had done it, and if you hadn't, because that's lying to your readers, and that's not fair. I think it's unethical, but it's your decision, obviously. But what I do is that if I haven't done it, let's say I've done 2 food tours in Paris, but obviously if I just have done 2, I can't write about the best food tours in Paris, right? So I can write something about my favorite food tours in Paris. I can write the summary of the tours that I've done, and then underneath I put a link with, and here are some additional food tours you can take, and then maybe write a 1 or 2 sentence summary about that tour. That maybe here's a dessert tour, here's a cheese tour, maybe some specialty tours, something like that. So you have a more variety if the readers are interested in something a little bit different. Or hotels work the same way. So if you write a review about one hotel that you stayed in, and then here are 3-star hotels, or here are some luxury options, something like that.
Yes.
You mentioned Booking.com, and you were saying back when you were talking about how long the cookie lasts.
Yes.
I didn't catch what you said about Booking.com and how their affiliate link works.
It's only in the session that so if you have a blog post and you recommend the hotel, the reader clicks on the link and they have to book within that session on Booking.com. So if they come back, if they close the browser and come back 2 hours later, it's gone. You don't earn commission.
So they pretty much use note that it's within that session and that's it.
Yes.
So
Okay.
You
It
might
might-
want to check the difference too, because there may be a difference between what their network program is and what their actual program is. Because we have Booking.com. I thought it was a little bit longer, but I would have to check.
I'm with
You know-
Hotels Combined, so I don't. That's what I've heard from other bloggers. So.
But you're going to find that, depending on the program that you're at, like Agoda has a 30-day cookie. So, there you've got a good long time. And so I usually try and look for something that's got a little bit longer cookie gives, especially on that. I think that on average, when somebody is planning a trip, they do close to 30 different searches on different things, whether it's hotels, whether it's things to do, that sort of thing. So, they're not going to make an instant decision. So I always recommend to go with longer cookies if possible.
So is there anybody else like Agoda that has 30 days?
I believe that TripAdvisor is pretty long as well. I could double check on all of them. But yeah, there are definitely other ones that have 30-day cookies.
What are your thoughts on open and new window versus same window for affiliate links?
open in a new window, always for me. It's an outside source. I only open in the same window if it's on my own blog. That being said, I do link, like when it's my hotels.deribabclose.com, it opens in the same window because it's the same domain.
Yeah, I usually recommend a new window as well, because that way they're not leaving your site, but they can, but they can also come back. So I always say a new window is my preference. Any other questions? Yes?
Talk a lot about text links. In terms of image assets that a merchant provides a blogger, are there any preferences that you see in terms of the types of assets that are being requested?
So it's tricky with hotels. I like to put hotel pictures of places I've stayed at. And sometimes I also write the hotel directly, and they send me images from their press gallery or something like that. With products, it's really tricky. I mean, sometimes like on Amazon, you can only do that insertion with the link with the picture, but you can't really change the size or anything. So it's really restrictive. And sometimes it also works to just put general images of, like, if you're doing a hiking packing list, just to put a picture of some dude hiking in the mountains, and to break up the content, if that makes sense.
But one of the things you can do is many merchants have a data feed. So if they've got a data feed and you're part of their program, you have the right to use any pictures that are in there. So, you know, like if they've got a picture of a particular boot or something that they've got, whatever they've got, you have the right to use. So a lot of times I'll encourage somebody to go ahead and download the data feed, find that particular product or whatever, and see what that picture is. You can use it that way. So it's kind of one way where you don't have to necessarily go to the merchant. They're already saying, here, all of this is approved for you to use. Any other questions? Like I said, if anybody wants a copy of our slides, please just give us a card. We'll make sure and send those to you. Thank you so much for being an absolutely wonderful audience. Thank you.
Thank you.